Hello everyone and welcome to Lost in the Reel. Today I'm going to be talking about Hulu's new 5-part true crime limited series, Candy. Is this show able to rise above the true crime fatigue that has settled in recently and bring something new to the genre? Let's talk about it. Candy is created by Robin Veith and Nick Antosca. It stars Jessica Biel, Melanie Lynskey, Pablo Schreiber, Raul Esparza, and Timothy Simons. Candy Montgomery is a 1980s housewife and mother who did everything right. But when the pressure of conformity builds within her, her actions scream for just a bit of freedom. Until someone tells her to shush, with deadly results. Hulu is back at it again with another dramatized true crime series with Candy. Although this is one of my favorite genres, it seems as if every single week we are getting a new show with a prestige cast dramatizing some kind of stranger than fiction crime from our past. And I'm starting to get kind of tired by it. The problem is that all of these series are starting to blend together and feel the same. And the biggest issue I've had is that these showrunners have felt the need to stretch these stories to their limits by making all of them run in unnecessary 7, 8, or even 10 episodes in length when they could have just been satisfyingly told in a much shorter period of time. Luckily, with Hulu's Candy, the showrunners have kept the length to a much more palatable 5 episodes. And instead of making you wait week after week for a new installment, the streaming giant has decided to drop a new episode daily. Because of these logistical decisions, I found Candy to be one of the more refreshing true crime limited series released so far this year. Though I still have my doubts that it will be all that memorable moving forward. The series follows housewife Candy Montgomery, a church-going woman who seemingly has it all in 1980s suburbia. But looking closer, you can see that Candy is a woman at odds with the society she has been born into. She is a strong-willed and independent force to be reckoned with who has been relegated to playing a doting housewife. Because of this, one day, she snaps and sends her whole tight-knit community into a tailspin. Candy sets out to answer the question, why would this seemingly perfect model of what a wife and mother should be all of a sudden commit a heinous murder? I think the biggest draw for anyone going into Candy is the presence of Jessica Biel in the lead role. The once teen idol and rom-com starlet shed all of our preconceived notions of what she was capable of with her daring performance in the first season of The Sinner. And she returns to incredible form here, giving Candy such gravitas and complexity. Biel is nearly unrecognizable in the role, though her beauty is still unwavering through the tightly wound curls and oversized glasses. She is able to bring so much depth to Candy, who could have been played one note by any other actress, but Biel does not settle for that. She is at once conniving and sinister, and then intelligent and headstrong, and at times also full of desperation and sadness, that you can't help but in one moment despise her, and then in the next feel empathy for her. One thing is for sure though, you will never not be overwhelmed with fascination for her. The rest of the cast is also extremely strong. Melanie Lynskey, who finally got a meaty role in Showtime's Yellow Jackets after being relegated to the sidelines for far too long in the industry, also brings some real intricacy to what could have been played as a simple victim role. I love that as an audience, we are constantly forced to ask ourselves questions about these two ladies. Like, which one is in the wrong? Who can we actually believe? Which one of these ladies do we feel for, or is it both or neither? The fact that our opinion is constantly changing and evolving is a testament to these ladies' performances. Pablo Schreiber, who is currently starring as Master Chief on Paramount Plus's Halo series, and Timothy Simons of Veep fame are also quite good. Though they could just be considered background fodder for Linsky and Biel to work their magic, they do become intriguing characters themselves as the series progresses. The two of them begin to add more layers to the story, and they beg the question, how did these men and the role that they have played in their wives' lives affect what went down on that fateful Friday the 13th? Also, there is a fun little supporting role cameo that I would love to talk about here, but Hulu has asked us to refrain from giving away any of that information, so you'll have to check it out to see for yourselves. There are many other things to celebrate here beyond the first-rate acting. The production and costume design is impeccable and really transports you into the 1980s. Candy feels as if it were filmed during this era, never like it's trying to play pretend, which does add to the effective storytelling. I also love that even though it feels a tad basic, the way in which the story is told feels authentic, like we are getting all angles of every perspective. The way it goes back and forth in time, and then back to the day of the crime, constantly keeps the viewer on edge, as we are peeling back each layer of the crime. Many reviews I've read have claimed that this is a whodunit, but even if you're not familiar with what happened, it's pretty obvious from the get-go who the culprit is. Candy is much more of a whodunit, and I think the format of the time-jumping storytelling really adds a lot of weight and reasoning behind the why of it all. And lastly, I'm not sure if this is a positive or more of a disclaimer, but I have to put it out there how surprised I was by the grisly nature of the depiction of the murder. The filmmakers leave most of the brutality to the final episode, but they really go there with the violence. And even though it might lean a bit on the edge of sensationalization, seeing the disturbing nature of this crime so vividly forces the viewer to come to terms with how cruel someone must be to commit something as despicable as that. But even so, squeamish viewers, beware. My biggest problem with Candy actually doesn't have much to do with the work done here at all, but rather the sheer nature of the story and how we have seen it all before. Take away the great performances, and what you have is a very basic true crime story told in a blatantly familiar way. Though it asks some intriguing questions about morality, social status, mental health, and more, all of this has been asked and answered many times in the past. So by the end, when the 5th episode concluded, I was left captivated, but also feeling like what I had just spent 5 hours of my life watching was a bit redundant. It all leads me to think that though Candy is worth watching for true crime buffs, it's not going to be remembered by the time the year is up. And I guess that's okay. It's almost like a blood-stained, revenge-filled beach read. It's breezy and riveting while you're in the thick of it, but the moment it's over, you'll forget all about it. So I will be giving Candy 3.25 axes out of 5. With bravura performances by Jessica Biel and the rest of the cast, along with the lovingly crafted period filmmaking and some hefty character-driven storytelling, Candy is a solid true crime limited series. Though you won't be able to shake the fact that you've seen it all many, many times before. Thank you so much for watching Lost in the Reel and my review for Hulu's Candy. I would love to hear your thoughts on this series. What is your favorite Jessica Biel performance? And what is your most anticipated Hulu series coming up next? Sound off in the comment section down below. And until next time, my friends, take care.